Hi, this is Tina Elmer with Prudential Fox and Roach and Welcome Home Philly TV. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about zoning, and we're here with Greg Damis. Hey, Greg.
Hi, Tina.
He's with Prudential Fox and Roach as well, former GPAR, which is the Philadelphia Association of Realtors president here, so you have a lot of knowledge and have dealt with zoning issues quite a bit in your career, correct?
That is correct,
okay,
yes.
Cool. So you say not to call you the expert. There is no such thing as a zoning expert, I think, with how much things change, but maybe zoning aficionado is probably a better term.
That may work. I've been on multiple zoning committees for neighborhood associations. I've been working with zoning on my own properties and for some of my clients since the early 1980s. So I have a good feel.
I would agree.
Yeah, that's good. I have a good feel for it.
He's definitely our resident expert here, so that's why I wanted to call in the best for this. So tell me a little bit about what types of things your typical homeowner should be concerned with when dealing with zoning.
If it is a standard row home in Philadelphia, middle of the block, no parking, regular single-family home, there shouldn't really be a lot of issues. When you purchase a home, you should ask for a certification statement. We call them COs, or certificates of occupancy. Different language, same form. It says it's a single-family home, and that's really what you should have. If the home is outside of the box and there is parking, driveways in the front or the back or the side, or additions that look like they were attached, you may want to investigate a little bit further to make sure that the parking space is legal.
Sure.
It might just have been created but not necessarily legal, or the addition was added properly and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because you would hate to deal with that at a later date.
Yes.
Tell me, with just that as a perfect lead into, what kind of zoning issues tend to be the most common?
Most common, I think, is additions that have been built on houses and decks that have been built on tops of homes without any variances for height or requirements.
Sure.
I'd say the second biggest is probably parking spaces that were created in backyards and things of that nature.
Yeah, I can definitely see. I know everybody wants that outdoor space, so they just try to put those decks in, sneak them by. It's not a good thing. When purchasing a multifamily or commercial property, what can you look for in zoning?
When you're settling the property, or before you settle the property, your agent is required to give you a certification statement, which will tell you what the proper use of the property is. So the zoning may allow for one thing, but the use may actually be different. And today, when a property is not used for the same thing for 3 years, it may actually revert back. So if the city, if it's a single-family home that's been transferred to a triplex, but it's been empty for 3, 4, or 5 years, or if the city deems it's been empty for 3 or 4 or 5 years or longer, they might take it back to a single-family house, so it may look and smell and feel like a multi-unit building, or even be rented.
That way,
but it may not necessarily be. And the same thing with storefronts. You can't assume that if you buy a coffee shop that it necessarily allows food service or even takeout, even though they may be doing that. I see it's really common.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, obviously, like, we're just kind of tip of the iceberg with this stuff. But there are a lot of zoning issues that people might want information on. Where would you suggest that people can find help on zoning and such?
Well, I'd say first ask your agent. Hopefully your agent will have some clues and some insight that they can get from the other real estate agent, or they can get from the owner themselves. Second place would be if you have any suspect that there's a problem, or if your property is not a single-family property, it may not be a bad idea to have an attorney represent you. And I always recommend that you get real estate attorneys.
Yes,
They're really the most helpful.
Sure.
It's difficult. Even the experts, real estate attorneys, still have to look things up. So if it's not within the scope of what they normally do, it's more difficult. You can always go down the Municipal Services Building at 1400 JFK Boulevard. You go downstairs. They're very helpful. You take a ticket. You tell them what you're looking for, and they set you in the right direction. And you can open up the file on the property, and you can even consult with someone. It's a great service. And if you want to do some preliminary work, maybe before you purchase, there's a great website called zoningarchive.com. It's a city website. It's not all-inclusive, but it is very helpful, and it can set you in the right direction.
It's a great starting point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for touching on this. I appreciate it greatly. You can always find more information at welcomehomephilly.com on me. And Greg, give us your website as well, just in case people want to.
It is teamdamis.com. It's TEAMDAMIS.com.
Perfect. Thank you for your time,
Thanks,
and
Tina.
thanks